The set up for Ben Healy, and then Carapaz took control. I think we'll see some more attacks the next time up that climb.
22 seconds with just under 16 kilometres to go. A big fast descent coming up into the left turn again as different teams now look to fight for position. That should bring the gap back at somewhat as they race into the bottom of the climb. See that Alex Aramburu is being put into position by Movistar. Teammate doing that job for him is Jose Joaquin Rojas in the blue jersey. Tesfazion is up there following, wearing number 6 as well for Lidl Trek. Third wheel now. Alaphilippe manoeuvres himself into position left hand side, just behind Tesfazion now. Tudor Pro have 3 riders here in their black jerseys. Make that 4 because the Swedish champion's up towards the front, Lucas Ericsson. And look how this gap's coming down again while they fight for that position on this descent.
Yeah, it happened the last time, didn't it? When Mediso leader out front of Baggiola, and it came right down to about 13 seconds in his hairpin. So it's going to come down again, but not as much. Still 22 seconds. We come round this hairpin, and then we start eyeing up this climb up to the finish. And I'm pretty sure we will see some more action this
Alexis
time.
Guérin and Richard Carapaz around the corner. 20 seconds now, 18. Well, they'll struggle a little, isn't it, out of that on their own. They'll be racing through. Look at this, they're flying down the hill here. And now racing into the foot of the climb with a 15-second deficit. Guérin in the yellow, Carapaz, the man in the Ecuadorian colours. The Carchi locomotive, as they call him in Ecuador. Carchi, the region he comes from, high up in the mountains, very close to the border with Colombia. Carapaz is a man who used to have to do his own racing in Colombia because it was closer to him. And here he goes, he'll be used to these. Uphill again, but it's his terrain. Tudor Pro getting bodies to the front. Lotto Destiny starting to get involved. Yellow jersey doing a good job in defending his own interests. McNulty, his teammates with him. And now then, with 13 seconds, what happens? McNulty moves to the front. They watch, they wait. There's no move from anybody. We watch Healy. And the gap's down to 12 seconds. It's Alaphilippe who's driving this. Van Wilder a few wheels behind. Coming up to the penultimate time through the finish line. The bell will ring at the top. There's another intermediate sprint there, 3 2 bonus seconds as well. There's a very real chance that it might come together before the bonus seconds again. Alaphilippe is doing his best to make that happen. Carapaz with Guérin, who attacked to come across on the last climb they were on. That's less than 10 seconds now. And keep your eye on Alaphilippe, who's dancing away in his usual style. But here she's there, McNulty's there. And even though they're shadowed by Healy, it's a very good job being done still by UAE. Healy this time managing to stay up at the front of affairs. It's a handful of seconds here. And UAE again will be happy about this. It's been brought back together. Chance to maybe add another couple of bonus seconds here. Let's see. They won't be desperate.
It's this part here, Rob. It's when it just levels out before it kind of drops down a little bit, before it goes up to the finishing line. That's where you get the power in the legs. That's where you make a big difference.
Jon Izagirre along with Giulio Ciccone. Opportunity to attack and try and sneak away for a stage win. Guérin's here. Carapaz is still on his wheel. 12.5 kilometres remain. One more passage through the finish here, and then the same circuit for the final time. Opening up a little bit again for those in front. Here's she and McNulty monitoring for those bonus seconds. Ulisi comes to the front. They're happy to see these mocked up if they can. Just controlling it here around the corner. They've ridden brilliantly of UAE Emirates here. And they look at each other. 100 metres to go. Just the one bonus second available from behind. Ulisi's going to be there. Van Wilder will go as well. Here she wants it too. So 3 and 2 are taken up. And the 1 is taken by Van Wilder. Takes him up to 32 seconds. The start of the day from Hirschi, but of course Hirschi took those bonuses earlier on. Worse than he was at the start of the day. So then more moves, more attacks. Lidl Trek are very, very active here with Ciccone. Off we go, quick descent and onto that longish climb again. Just see on that last climb, Brian, there were different teams, and we haven't seen this Aguirre all day. He popped out, he had a go. And there'll be a few more riders of that ilk in the peloton maybe, who once you go on the uphill will be throwing the dice.
Yeah, I thought a few more would have maybe had an attack, because, you know, looking at it, Hirschi looks good, UAE look good, and if they get a sniff of this stage victory, then, you know, the yellow jersey could be winning this final stage here in the Tour of Luxembourg, and, you know, sealing the win. But it does look as if they're happy with Hirschi winning this one. But let's see what the other teams have got. Unfortunately for Guerin and Bingo. But this is a move for Bingo. This looks like Alaphilippe. He kind of halted a little bit. I really did think that Van Wilder would be riding a little bit more aggressively on this course. Of course, the closer we get to the finish, the less chance you've got of making up a lot of time. And of course, to make up 32 seconds, I don't think it's doable. So you have to kind of go from a little bit more of a distance, and that's not going to happen. So I do believe now that this peloton, a lot of the teams are starting to think more of the stage win, saving everything for that final ascent up to the finish line.
Got the stage win, and they've gone on the attack here. Is Aguirre again up towards the front for Cofidis.
Looks a bit like a Costio again. It's always rides aggressively, this young Frenchman.
There was Mühlberger on the radio from Movistar, asking the question, thinking about Alex Aramburu, who'll be their first choice if he can be there. Inside the final 9.5 kilometres now, very short, flattish section before it goes uphill for a long time. Rider trying to get across from Israel Premier Tech now.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Rob. Israel Premier Tech, you know, when was the last time we talked about them? I think it was the first stage. So they've been kind of very quiet, and, you know, when you consider the riders that they've got, you know, they're very capable of winning this stage. So it's another team that are deciding that they're kind of sitting back, waiting for that kind of final ascent.
Time as well. Green jersey there working on the front. Luca Vergallito is the rider on his wheel. 191 there is Matthias Brenghøj. Young rider from Denmark and Leopard Pro Cycling. And this group seems to have let a group splinter off the front. Of course, Stewart is being chased down by Youngles now. That would be a good news story, wouldn't it? Agir Desert have presence in this group. Jumbo-Visma as well. The Agir Desert riders, Franck Bonamour. The rider we saw from Israel Premier Tech was Hugo Hull, Tour de France stage winner last year. And Gregor Mühlberger is on the back there, the Austrian champion. This is the gap. It's a handful of seconds with riders trying to get across. Maybe thinking that UAE Emirates would be not too disappointed if a group went and took things off the front, but we'll see what happens. It's a longish climb, this, we know that.
It's a case, Rob, that stage one is, you know, if Ben Healy wins the stage and nobody else gets any of the seconds, it's still possible. So for them, they're okay. But I think, by the looks of things, they've got this kind of wrapped up. A lot of riders now getting into this group, Rob, but they don't want to work with each other.
As well. He's the rider from Jumbo-Visma. Kostju is at 7 seconds. Kostju's teammates trying to get across here. And that's Anthony Delaplace. Kofid is trying to send a rider up. UAE just controlling. We know how long this climb lasts. It's Tesfazion, I think, on the back there. Fastest finisher out of this group. They still can't pull back Kostju, though, for now. Just hanging out there at that 5 seconds or so. Big effort from the young Frenchman who sits at 140 in the GC. 20 years of age. Having quite the first season. Youngles who vacates the position at the front for Mühlberger. Vergalito deciding he's not coming through. Ullmann just fills in that gap. Yellow jersey on his back of Jumbo-Visma. Man you're looking at is the leader, though. On the road, Yuan Kostju. 7.5 kilometers from the finish. Halfway up this climb.
Big effort, but I've seen him in a few races over the last kind of year or two. Very strong rider. A rider that's not scared about attacking. One thing missing from the group behind, obviously UAE Team Emirates, but I think Soudal Quickstep have kind of missed out. You kind of Alaphilippe or Van Wilder not there. And this would have been a good opportunity for Van Wilder. I think is that Delaplace just about to get on, just at the bottom, another rider coming across as well. I really do think that possibly by the top of this climb, it could all come back together.
Kostju continues to give it his all. And the movements continue now. Soudal Quickstep want to get involved. A rider being sent across there. But as soon as riders try to join them, there's an attack from behind. AG2R Citroën being followed by Tesfazion. The AG2R rider had been Franck Bonamour. It is Bonamour, it is Tesfazion. Nine seconds, Kostju's gaining. All coming across. Canadian rider Vergalito now trying to get across as well. Four riders, they come towards the top here. And getting close now to Kostju. But as you can see, there's another handful of riders behind those who attacked from that peloton a moment ago, Brian. And this is becoming difficult to control, difficult to see.
Yeah, this is a big group now. Kostju doing a very good job there. You've got to remember, he went up that drag on his own. A lot of looking behind. Hugo Hula trying to kind of stealth across this gap now. Yeah, it might all come back together. We've seen it being squeezed in this descent before we head up towards the finish, and I'm pretty sure that UAE Team Emirates would dearly love to try and kind of win this stage and finish off a very successful Tour of Luxembourg. But nobody here, I don't think, by the looks of things. Tobias Johannessen's here. That's another good finisher. He could finish this off in style.
Now, has Adam Bourg got in here, Brian? Because there's a rider there on the wheel of Mühlberger.
Yeah, this is what I'm looking at. Anybody that's up there in the general classification, I don't think there's any danger from what I can see at the moment, but definitely Tobias Johannessen is a rider that can finish off. If Adam Bourg's got here, there's another one. So Kostju, valiant effort. It's not going to come to anything. Madouas, the French champion. I was thinking, when I saw him at the back, he was just waiting and waiting to this final lap. So, but if they mess about too much, Rob, this gap can come down quickly.
Who is on the wheel of his teammate Gregor Mühlberger. Tobias Johannesson, you mentioned. Alaphilippe is there towards the back as well. Five kilometers to go. Who's going to ride for his life now. We're waiting to get a time check on the main peloton. There we go, 20 seconds. They've got a chance.
Yep, definitely a chance. It really depends on UAE Team Emirates. Do they want the stage win? Are they happy just for these riders to take the bonus?
It's Steven Hines, the rider in there for Soudal Quickstep, I think.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Yeah, I was looking at that, his style. I was trying to see if Alaphilippe had made it as well, but definitely Devon Hines. Definitely it's Van Sevenen.
There he is.
Yeah. Young Goose.
Mühlberger, Johannesson alongside Youngles. Felix Gall has made it there this time. Mari van Sevenop. We know that Alex Aramburu's in here too. The gap's growing to the peloton. Bob Youngles eyeing up a stage win on home roads, maybe. Vergalito there from Alpecin de Koning. Valentin Madouas as well. Bonamor sits at the back. Gall, his teammate, is further up in the line. Rider there from Cofidis is Oliver Knight. Fantastic move across from the young British rider. And Sam Oman in the main group for Jumbo-Visma. This is the scene behind. Certainly looks to be moving with more force and more purpose at the front, Brian.
Yes, it's whether they start looking at each other, Rob. We're inside the last 3 kilometres now, down this final part of this sense. You know, everybody in here is thinking, wow, well, I'm here with a good chance of winning the stage, but I want to save something for this kind of last climb. It depends on what they're doing, you know, in the peloton behind, whether they want to kind of chase this down, because 21 seconds is nothing in this climb to the
takes it on from the front here. Always a danger around that corner of a split or two and having to really make a big effort to close the gap. Youngles looks around, and now Mühlberger, his former, I say his former teammate, they weren't together at the team together, were they? But Mühlberger's a former Bora rider. Now for Movistar.
I think that's what it needs. It needs, Rob, somebody just to sacrifice himself, because they will be doing that in the peloton behind. A lot of these riders just sitting on the wheels thinking, I'm in with a great chance.
The reason that Mühlberger sacrificing his own chances, he's got probably on paper the fastest finisher in the group in here, in Alex Aramburu. Aramburu's just on the radio to his teammate there as he closes the gap, make sure he's on. Final climb now, final 2 kilometres. Mühlberger's done. Let's see how they do. And it's Van Sevenop who launches the first move, swinging away.
Yeah, he just keeps it hard. Felix Gall in the middle, in the whites. Uman is coming up. They're stalling, Rob.
And Gall's going to go.
It's too long to go to the finish.
They also have to shake Aramburu. Johannesson looking good in third wheel.
And Tobias Johannesson, I think he's a good bet for this type of finish. Of course, Aramburu quicker in the finish, but that last little lip, I think is good for Johannesson.
Brenhøy is dropped as well. And now Johannesson on the right side. It's Tisfatsion who's up there too, but it's Johannesson who makes his own move. And they have to react.
Yeah, they have to. They have to react. Great minds think alike, Rob. They have to react. This is a quality young man, and he's on some decent form, good form at the recent Tour of Britain, so they have to react. They can't wait for others to do it, because already we've seen, you know, a lot of them are thinking about it, just wait and let the others make the effort. Van Sevenent is trying to make the effort, but you give this man an inch and he'll take a mile.
Tobias Haaland Johannesson, winner of the Tour de l'Avenir 2 years ago, looking to take something big here in Luxembourg. Oman's in the chase behind. This is Madouas with Bonamor on his wheel, and Aramburu is fighting every inch of the road. We know he's a fast finisher, but he's showing he can go uphill here as we come to the Flamme Rouge. Johannesson with the lead. Is it big enough?
I think it is. I think the trouble is with Madouas, he looks around, he's got Aramburu, they're going to ease up, which they are doing now. They're just looking at each other. Tobias Johannesson, it's flown the nest. He went in that climb. Quality rider. He's got this one in the bag because others are just looking at each other.
Tobias Holland Johannesson of UNOX making his move, getting across, smelling the racing opportunity and displaying the strength to pedal away. And it's that he's doing now all the way to the line. Turns into empty open road and we'll soon see the finish line. Promised so much as an under-23. He's been there or thereabouts in stage racing, hasn't he? He got through his first Tour de France this year. He's going to take the biggest win on the road that he's ever taken. Tobias Johannesson out there with Aramburu chasing here after 4 hours of full gas racing. It's victory to UNOX. It's a win for Tobias Johannesson. Just the 4th of his career, and in this company the biggest. Aramburu second. And that looks as though it's Franck Bonamor in 3rd place. Car across the line. No other big gaps, it seems. And Mark Hirschi wins the Skoda Tour de Luxembourg. Delight for UNOX. We talked about them earlier this week, Brian, and how they approach racing. They do not just make up the numbers. They've won today again, and they're on the way up.
No, that's a big win. I think he said it in the run-in, Rob, that's, you know, you win the Tour de l'Avenir, you're going to win the Tour de France. You know, that's the way they look at it, you know, and he's struggled. I know he finished up there in the recent Tour of Britain, but when you look back at his results this year, a win's a win. Doesn't matter where it is. And this is a decent enough level race. It's been coming for a long time. He had illness last year. He had illness at the start of the year. This man could be a superstar. I've always thought that in superstar. I've always thought that in the last kind of couple of years when I've seen him, the progression. This win is just going to give him so much confidence. So much confidence. It was well earned. That's why I spotted him out, because I've kind of followed his career a little bit over the last kind of 2 or 3 years. This man could be pretty much a big Grand Tour contender one day.
There's the GC winner.
They did. They deserved it. You know, they got the just rewards. I was just looking back at Johannesson. You know, he's ridden well over the kind of last couple of years. You know, going back to Étoile de Bessèges, he won a stage. Normally wins in a lot of these kind of races, the youth classification. Strong UE Team Emirates team, they have kind of dominated this race.
The 5th and final stage of the Tour of Luxembourg is won by Norwegian Tobias Holland Johannesson. He beats Alex Aramburu and Franck Bonamor. Madouas is 4th. Vincent Venon finishes 5th. Kostju, Tesfatsion, Omen, Vergalito and Gal make up a top 10 separate.